injury standpoint, Tate's improving. Didn't play catch today, but we're hoping in the next couple of days still. What else we got? That's about it.
All right. We'll start with questions then. Rock, go ahead.
Brandon, as far as John Means, I mean, has anything changed today, and has your level of optimism for opening day changed at all?
Yeah, so obviously should have mentioned John. We're still a little bit day to day with him. He felt a lot better today. Got a lot of treatment today, and so we haven't made a decision on that yet. But that's obviously we need to do that here in the next couple of days.
Dan Conley, you're up next. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Brandon. Iglesias not at shortstop, and Vlaka there. Is there a situation as far as kind of being off of Jose a little bit, or do you want to see what Pat can do at shortstop in the game?
Just kept Iggy home. He took about 8 to 10 at bats this morning, off of a couple of pitchers that are in our secondary site. So him, Santander, and Dwight Smith probably took 8 to 10 at bats apiece. So that was good to see. And I just wanted to. He's going to play a lot the next 2 days. So I knew it's blazing hot today and as well as tomorrow. So I just gave him a breather today and just wanted to get at bats.
John Meoli, you're up. Go ahead, John.
How's it going, Brandon?
No.
Would you need to change your plans for tomorrow or Tuesday in terms of starters if John can't go, or would you just have one of those guys maybe pitch on Friday on shorter rest?
I prefer not to have anybody pitch on short rest. We're hoping that John can make that start, but I just don't have an answer right now, and we can't commit. I mean, I think tomorrow we really need to decide, but I really don't want any of those guys to go on short rest. So we're hoping he can start, but if not, we have some contingency plans.
Rich Dubroff, you're up. Go ahead, Rich.
Brandon, what are your pitching plans for the next 2 days? Starters and relievers to follow.
Oh, Rich, I don't have my sheet in front of me. Well, today we got Eshelman, Sulcer, Carroll, Castro, and Scott with possibly Hess and Velasquez. Tomorrow, Alex, look at Jim, MVP of the day so far. Alex Cobb's going to start tomorrow. We're going to see Blyer, Lakins, Fry, Valdez, and probably Zastryzny. And then on the third day of these exhibition games, you're going to see LeBlanc. You won't see LeBlanc. You're going to see Cole Stewart, and you're going to have Armstrong and Givens and Phillips and Hess if he doesn't throw in the game before. But Wade LeBlanc is going to throw a sim game at home. So Cole Stewart will make that start.
Joe Trezza, you're up next. Go ahead, Joe.
Brandon, how reflective is this lineup, especially at the top? And what have you seen from Rio that you like lately to put him in the 2 spot?
It's an exhibition game lineup. Not a ton of thought put into it. I didn't look at numbers. I didn't look at anything besides I wanted to see Rio get a couple of bats off a right-handed pitcher early, and not knowing what their usage or how they're going to pitch their guys behind them. I'm probably going to not play Hayes a ton. He's going to be he's going to hit in the top third of the lineup majority of the time, at least to start the year. So he's going to get a couple of bats, and I want to play the next couple games also. But I didn't, honestly, this was just me throwing it together for this type of game with some certain things in mind of making sure guys get some at bats.
Mark Viviano, you're up next. Go ahead, Viv.
Hey, Brandon. You mentioned it's just an exhibition. Not a lot of thought went into that lineup. But if I could ask you to think about arriving to this point where you're actually playing another team for the first time in more than 4 months, what this kind of what it means in terms of progress? Or are you saving that for Thursday at Boston?
No, it was. It's definitely different going into a new stadium. The arrival is different also this year in 2020. But yeah, I went out on the field, saw a really good friend of mine who's on their staff, and talked at a little bit of a distance for a few minutes, and I got to see another uniform out there. So that was a good feeling. I know our guys are excited to play somebody else. I think we've done a great job these past few weeks of preparing for this, for these next 3 days, and we are definitely ready to play somebody. I think we're tired of playing against each other for sure. So I think it's going to increase the intensity a little bit of these games also, and that you're not just playing against the same guys you are in your locker room, but playing against another team and playing against two really good teams. And we're going to be facing some really good pitching in these next 3 games, and really good lineup. This lineup here it's the real deal.
Steve Molesky, you're up next. Go ahead, Steve.
Brandon, early in the summer camp, you had said you thought there was a chance your starters could be about 6 innings, 85 pitches at the end. As you approach the end now, are some or most of your guys at that spot?
I think we're close. I think we have the majority of guys are going to be able to I think all of them are going to be able to get to that 5. And I think some could push the envelope to 6 if things are going well during a start, and they're having some quick innings, and they're having maybe some low stress innings. I think that's going to be important. But yeah, I think that we're kind of on track to have our guys stretched out as well as we possibly could.
John Mealy, you're up again. Go ahead, John.
Brandon, over the 2+ weeks you guys have been here, what stood out about Renato Nunez?
Well, I think one, he swung the bat really well. He has swung the bat very well these last few weeks, and I like the way he's really focusing on using the big part of the field. I've seen a lot of hard hit balls into right center, into the gaps. I thought at times last year we talked about it quite a bit, where he would get pull conscious, try to get the ball in the air pull side too much, and not using the whole field. And he's really made a conscious effort to really work on that in batting practice and drills. And I've seen some results in some of the limited inter squad stuff that we've done, or the live batting practices where he's faced live pitching. You really see him stay on some balls. So that's been great to see. Defensively, there's been he's really increased his focus and the purpose. His purpose is different in his work defensively for me this year. I've always thought he worked hard. He did a nice job, but this year there's a little bit extra and really getting his feet going. He's making every ground ball important. He's making that 15-20 minute defensive session a big part of his day, and I've seen a lot of improvement there, really from the start of from the beginning of this month till now. And with him, too, it's confidence also. It's confidence defensively, and I feel like his confidence has improved, and just hoping that it continues, and hoping that I think he's going to hopefully he keeps the same work ethic for these next 60 days, and continues to gain confidence.
Rich Dubroff, you're up next. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, Brandon, you have the opportunity to have a taxi squad this year, and you start the season with 5 games on the road, and one of the players on the taxi squad must be a catcher. So does that factor into your final roster makeup decisions?
Yep. Yeah, it does. It does. So, the 3 taxi squad decisions roster decisions are going to be important. And when we finally get our roster figured out and settled here for the 24th, we're going to put a lot of thought into what those 3 taxi squad guys and who they're going to be, because I think that, as we're all aware, things can change quickly on a day-to-day basis this year. And whether that's going to be someone to cover a starter, cover a catcher, a utility guy to cover if a position player goes down. I think there's a lot of things to consider there with those 3 that you're going to carry on the road.
Dan Conley, you're up next. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Brandon, another question about trying to figure out the 30-man roster. Taking a look at it, as far as utility spots are concerned, obviously Velasquez, because he's on the 40-man and also is the shortstop center field, player there, that he seems like he would be a good possibility. But even so, you have Valleca, Herrera, and Wilkerson, all not on the 40-man, all who obviously have some pluses, maybe fighting for 1 or 2 spots there. How tough is that decision? Has anyone gotten a lead in that so far? And, is that something that you've thought much about?
A lot about, especially these last few days. And I'd love to bring them all. There's a little bit in there, there's something in every one of these guys' games that fits in nicely with our ball club. And that's going to be a really tough decision at the end. And one I'm not looking forward to be honest with you, because they all bring a little bit something different. There's, like you said, Velasquez plays in the middle of the field, can play center field also. That's a huge plus for a guy that can play 3 spots in the middle. You've seen Stevie Wilkerson out there at shortstop a little bit lately for that reason, to see if he can. I know that he can play center. He proved that last year. Did a nice job in the corner outfield when I stuck him out there with no experience, and he's played second base in the past. So he's got and he switch hits, and his right-handed swing has really improved, and he's swinging the bat really well from the right side here in this last week. So got him. Herrera just keeps hitting the ball hard every time. It seems like every time up he's scoring it up, and he's got some versatility also, and he can play both corner positions, play both corner infield positions. Came up as a second baseman in his Mets days, so he's versatile also. So really, it's going to be a tough choice, And then Valleca, who the same thing, has played both middle spots, has played third in his career, has played first in his career, has played corner outfield in his career. So it's really going to be a tough choice. If it comes down to it, where we have to just pick 2 or 3 of these guys, because I really like all their game, and I'd love to keep all of them.
Just to follow up, counting those 4 guys with Velasquez, do you see 2 spots or 3 spots, do you think?
It totally depends on 2 catchers, 3 catchers, outfield. We're taking 15, 16, 17 pitchers. A lot goes into that.
Joe Trezza, you're up next. Go ahead, Joe.
Brandon, how do you think it's going to be trying to follow the safety protocols today in a game setting for the first time, where everybody's in one dugout? And is there like an auxiliary dugout that the Phillies set up?
I didn't notice that, but I'm assuming that they have the tents that we had. But do they have that out there, Jimmy? Jimmy doesn't know. Come on. Yeah, no, we had the tents at home, and so I'm assuming that's the auxiliary. I think I still have some questions about that. There is kind of, like an R dugout. I think what helped us is last 3 days of playing in a game type of situation where we did play with 2 dugouts, did have home and visiting team. I think guys who are kind of got used to, we have signs in our home dugouts, in our dugouts at home that kind of show you where social distancing is, where 6 feet is away from the other person. But I think these 3 days are going to be a great practice run on that and how we go about with our dugout, with the tent outside. But I really just don't, this will be a first for all of us. And so I don't know how that's going to work, but I think it's going to be a good trial run.